This is a $150 million TV show, and I want to make a feature film that feels the exact same. Cut! For a lot less money. Here's the first thing. I need to work on production value over value production. Production value means everything you see on screen. So in one frame, it's telling the story, it's making it feel like it's a higher budget, but a value production is everything that you don't see on screen. It's the bigger camera, large crew, paying for a monitor for everyone to be standing around, and it's that more cumbersome large set. Over the past year, I've done short films that have ranged from $25,000 all the way down to $100. Here's the secret though. The difference between a $25,000 budget and a $100 budget isn't really that noticeable if you know what you're doing.
So we're shooting this wide shot of a car accident.
If you don't know what you're doing, that money can be spent in seconds. So in this video, I want to talk about the resources that can boost production value versus having a bigger value production so that you can save money and maybe actually make a better film with less money. I know what a lot of you are gonna say in the comments. The Ronin 4D that we're shooting on or the FX3 is like $5,000 or $7,000 worth of gear. If we wanna do an actual budget breakdown of, let's say, the last short film we shot, here's how much it would really cost if we were to pay for everything. $500 for the actor, $1,500 for the location, $300 for the 4D rental, which is actually the most affordable option out of all of this. $1,000 for the cinematography, $500 for a picture car rental, so like the vehicle you see on camera, $200 to $300 for meals, craft services, that sort of thing, $500 for editing, $250 for post VFX, $250 for music, and $500 for sound design, totaling to around $5,500. So that is obviously an insane budget. If you're looking at paying for everything the way like a commercial would pay for everything, that's how much this short film we shot would cost. But because everyone just provided their service out of the fact of making a film, everything was reduced down to basically $0. The real budget went towards this yellow jacket that I bought for Jackie, which is $25 at the thrift store, $5 for this fake blood, around $50 for dinner, and I think that was it. Like, I don't know, if we want to include gas, let's say like $20 in gas going back and forth. Editing, VFX, camera, everything else was in kind services. But the strategy to get Hollywood in your backyard is to use what you have rather than paying for everything you don't. So with that said, let's dive into the 5 things that can make a movie for under $100.
Frame and action. Cut. Come on. All right, that's it. Awesome, Dave. I love the little look back you did, like halfway through the take. Action.
The first thing to make your movie feel big is wide frames. A lot of indies shoot tight and close-up. For the vast majority of my first 3 features, they were shot in mediums and close-ups because we couldn't afford to shoot wider frames. But if you shoot on a small footprint and shoot in natural spaces, you can get really wide frames, boost the production value. So for this, I shot in a forest with really nice perspectives. A day before Mark came over to help shoot this, we did a little location scout near the local park in our area, and I just sort of found cool shots on my phone that I knew would read well on camera.
So dope. Yo, babe, look at this.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, no, Mark's got it. Action, Jackie, go for it. Oh, you stuck? You okay? Ow, are you okay?
Nice thing with natural spaces like forests or parks is you're dealing with natural light versus synthetic light. And when you're working with lighting rigs, that deals with generators, grips, crew, all of that stuff. So we were really benefiting off of the fact that we had the sun bouncing off the snow that acted as a nice bounce. But even without that, this could be a really easy, high production value space for no money.
Mark, can we see, is this light hitting, if she were to sit down, like if I was down here, would we still get that backlit?
I can add another ND.
So we'll just have it slash here.
Yeah.
Have a little peak here. Okay.
And this segues into lighting really nicely. We used a lot of exterior natural light. It was an overcast day, so everything looked soft and beautiful. But with the interior, we used the Zhuin Molis 400D, which is gear that I already have, so I'm not including that in the expenses. But if you were to rent it, let's say that's like a $50 rental. Anyway, I put that outside our window and blasted it like it was the sun, popping it into the supercharged like 400D mode.
Even on bigger film sets, they actually just use garbage bags to put on the windows because they're very quick to put up. Obviously, big films have negative that they put up, but this is a really good solution. It stops a lot of light and very fast to put up.
Why we're using the garbage bags too is like the idea is for the plot, right? Like someone's in this house and they're like, I don't want to be seen. When stuff's budget, I'm like, it's for the plot.
This is the story.
And the nice thing with doing single source lighting that's replicating natural light is that you're not working around any lights on your set. So therefore you have 360 degree theoretically on your set that you can show. And because we production designed the window, so it kind of like looked like a apocalyptic scene, we were able to use this as our motivated light, and there was no working around or rejigging the light. Once it was set, that's how we worked within it. So sometimes actually being limited to a single source light or stuff that's more natural is really nice, because then you're not trying to movie magic things all the time, which therefore you're not burning time on set.
Something that's really cool about working with collaborators is they allow you to see your space in a new light. And so I've never thought anything cinematic about our house, but then bringing Mark and having Jackie and wardrobe and even Matt, BTS here, part of the space, we're like, oh, you know what? We can make our boring house look like a movie.
The most expensive thing on any film set is burning time. So all of the things that we're talking about in this is really to show you how to save time on set with a smaller footprint. Now, I'm bringing up Hollywood-style filmmaking a lot in this, and the biggest thing that takes Hollywood to the next level is obviously visual effects, but not in the way that you think. Filmmakers like David Fincher, Christopher Nolan, and some of the greats will use tiny little bits of visual effects in order to enhance a shot versus making it the centerpiece of the frame. And I've really adapted this in our latest projects. For this one specific, I wanted to add like a crashed car effect at the beginning of the movie.
So here's the problem with your car.
It's perfect.
Where it looked like this car had just like smashed into a tree. So we did some production design, but it didn't feel epic enough. I went over to Storyblocks and grabbed some assets that I knew were going to make the film feel better, like the smoke effect that I could put behind the car, the snow that go in the foreground, and it just made it feel more epic. Then once I brought it into Premiere, I just kind of motion tracked it manually. You don't need to know like insane VFX to be able to do effective VFX. And once that smoke was put in, I kind of masked Jackie around it and then layered the snow in above just to kind of mush it all together to make it feel harder and colder than what it actually was. And then in the next scene, I wanted it to feel really difficult, so I grabbed a different snow effect and made it go against her. But this isn't the only application that I've used footage like this. I've had my subscription now for over 5 years, unrelated to any sort of sponsorship. This has just been my go-to website. Real quick story, one time I needed a time travel effect where a character was going through a portal. I'm like, how am I gonna do this? And so I was like, why don't I just get this like vortex effect, put it up on our projector in our living room, and get Jackie to sit in front of it. And it actually kind of worked as a portal effect. To me, something like Storyblocks is just like having more paintbrushes in the toolkit. I don't know why you'd have paintbrushes in your toolkit, but there's a link in the description below to where you can go take a look at Storyblocks. Storyblocks is one of the #1 subscriptions I pay for every year.
Director is 23-year-old Robert Rodriguez. The film, El Mariachi.
When Robert Rodriguez made El Mariachi way back in the 90s, they shot this entire feature film for $5,000. And the golden rule that he used for making that, only shooting with or in things that they had available. So they had a buddy of his owned a bar, so they shot at the bar, or if they used a bus in the scene because a friend of his was a bus driver, and that really built the production value of the film rather than making a film around all of the things that he didn't have. I use the same strategy for all the films that I've worked on this year.
So we just wrapped this little micro shoot for a proof of concept. Why we did it, all the intention behind this was to see if we could shoot on something like the Ronin 4D with a stripped down crew and an ambitious shot list. In the shot list, I think there was like 17 shots and a lot of different things, a car accident, some sort of zombie attack, big production design. And because our footprint was small, we actually were able to crush it. And it's also because we had an awesome team. Like, oh my God, look who's on the show. Mark Bone, here he is, yay!
Hey, how's it going?
The most important part of your frame is your character, and that's about 1/3 or sometimes half your shot. And 90% of your character is wardrobe. And so if you're thinking about it, Over a third of your movie is costume on frame, so it's very important to tell the story. And so I'm always trying to find something that's visually interesting. In this short, it was yellow jacket covered in blood, but I've also done this in films where we've had less nice locations to shoot in, where it's kind of more dull or gray, so vibrant colors really pop up in a dull shot, which actually is more often than not. A lot of modern homes that you're shooting in or exterior locations have one color palette. So if you want the shot to kind of pop out, choosing a color that contrasts the colors that you're working with really helps tell the story.
What was your experience like shooting narrative, doing something like this?
It's fun because it's kind of like the world's your oyster. But honestly, I find like shooting B-roll sequences, like for docs these days, the line is blurred. I definitely want to do a hybrid doc. But you're fun to work with too, Zach. You're very collaborative.
Thanks, man.
And you're full of gratitude. Most grateful guy in the world, Zach. Yeah. On that note, I'm gonna wrap some gear.
But yeah, I think there's something really fun also about the style to which we shot. Having stark imagery through a character wearing wardrobe that just like tells a story right away. I think we stripped down a lot of layers in this project. We didn't have a lot of grips and gaffers. It was just us behind the scenes. There was no stands, lighting stands outside of the light for this. And I think that is what made the speed so much quicker. Shots were done static with just holding the gimbal still, and it looked incredible. It looked like it was on a tripod. Looked like we did a dolly shot. So I don't know, DJI, if you're watching this, I absolutely love the 4D, the whole system. So please, Christmas is come and gone, but if it can come back again, that'd be great.
By the end of the year, I want to make a feature film that's shot on a small footprint, similar to what you saw in this video. It's going to be a small crew, not a lot of people, to see if I can achieve something that feels close to something like The Last of Us. Obviously, there's a lot of things that they get to work with, A-list actors, big production pieces, yada, yada. But maybe we can get close to that. So stay on this channel and follow along on that journey. But I think something that can stretch your budget is collaboration and working with very talented people who are eager to work on cool stuff. I got to collaborate with the team from Odd Goats, this guy Marv, who worked on the color grade and really like stretched the image way further than what I was able to do. This is what I kind of put together, and then this is what Marv was able to piece together in like a day with DaVinci. So I am so impressed with how this looks. If you like what we put together, you can follow along the journey to see us make something that's of this caliber, hopefully by the end of the year. And also, if you want to learn how to make these types of films on a small footprint, no big crew, you can go take a look at our course 4-week filmmaker. This is how I was able to construct this story using my one lock method, which is one character, one object, one conflict, one location. So that can maybe help you out with this and make you focus more on production value versus valued productions.
Thanks for watching, and now it's time to clean up this messy dining room setup.